Girl secretly keeps a little pet at home. Not only is the little cutie about the same size as her every night, he even slobbers on her. It's not just a 2-meter tall cutie now. 2 days ago, it was just an egg. The girl hid the egg she found under her blanket. By the next day, she was stunned. She had no idea that after only one night, the tiny egg had grown bigger than herself. As the girl was in a daze, something outrageous happened before her eyes again. The eggshell broke, then a terrible claw crawled out of it. Frightened, the girl hid in the wardrobe. She looked out quietly. She saw a bird that looked like a chicken sitting on her bed. The girl was at a loss as to what to do. To make sure she hadn't been mistaken, she looked over at the bed again. Suddenly, the little cutie stared at her with big eyes, staring at her with deadly eyes. Just as it was about to move closer to the girl's father came over at the sound of her voice. A little timid, the little cutie jumped from the 18th floor. The father asked the girl what had happened with a puzzled look on his face. Surprisingly, the girl said that nothing had happened. It was just the wind blowing outside that broke the window. I thought that would be the end of it. But then, late at night, the little cutie came crawling back on its own. It had a piece of broken glass stuck in its body. The kind girl helped him pull it out, and that's when he decided to watch over her for the rest of his life. She knew that her next-door neighbor's dog had bitten the girl that morning, so to repay the girl, he was ready to take revenge on the dog. Just as the girl was falling asleep, she felt something pressing against her. She opened her eyes to see something horrible and disgusting had happened. Girl felt something pressed against her. She opened her eyes and saw, immediately, she was shocked. It was her little pet sitting on top of her. The little cutie was looking at her happily. He was drooling and drooling. He then kept directing the girl to the table next to her. The girl turned her head and looked. Oh my goodness. The cutie had killed the next door neighbor's dog, but the girl knew it was to avenge her own death. Just then, the younger brother came over with the father. Because the brother suspected that the girl had hidden a small pet in her bedroom, the father asked the girl what she was hiding, before she could think of a way to tell the lie. But the father saw the blood on the bed first. He thought his daughter had grown up and entered a period of embarrassment that every girl goes through, so he left the room and beat the lying son up. By the next day, the girl spent her New Year's money on 2 pounds of pet food. She handed the food to the little one, but he didn't like it very much. To prove that she could eat the food in her hand, the girl took a big bite of her own food. She was so relieved that the little one would eat. After a while, the girl dressed him in her own clothes and gave it a big wave. The scene changes. The girl is practicing gymnastics in the training room because there's an important competition in 2 days' time, but her competitor is very talented. Everyone thinks her opponent is definitely this year's champion. The girl is feeling a little down. The little cutie at home soon notices, so he's ready to help the girl get rid of her rival. Girl has a terrible pet. Not only does it kill all of its owner's enemies, it even grew to look exactly like its owner. On this day, the girl was participating in a competition, but this scene suddenly appeared in her mind. The little cutie was holding a large axe, slowly walking towards the bed. She was about to strike the baby. In order to prevent another tragedy from happening, she had to slip. She slammed herself down on the floor, because the little one could feel the same pain as she did. At that moment, the baby's father came to the scene. He was immediately stunned by the horrific scene. He saw the little girl screaming at him. The baby jumped out of the window and ran away. Since the little one and the girl already looked exactly alike, the man yelled at the girl who had just finished the game. The girl had lost the game because of her hostility during the day. The angry mother came into the room to talk to her, but there was that horrible little cutie in the room. The cutie doesn't take kindly to her mother. After being scolded, she bit her straight away. Hearing her mother's screams from the bedroom, the girl rushes over. The 2 identical daughters were standing in front of their mother. In order to finish off the horrible little cutie, the mother handed the machete to her daughter. The 2 of them carefully searched for the escaped cutie, but as the mother searched for the cute little creature, she was struck down by a long-awaited ambush. After an hour-long tussle between them, the mother grabbed a knife and prepared to stab the cutie to death. But just then, the girl ran over and blocked the knife with her body. Her blood flowed into the little one's body. It was as if the baby had been reborn. He becomes a real human being. This is the end of the film. This film is a horrific and bizarre. It is a satire on the perverse love of parents for their children. Perhaps the monster will eventually take the place of the daughter, to become the mother's competitive daughter. Would you dare to have a pet like this? Follow me. See you in the next story.